I'm Taylor Heron, founder of Sales Automation Systems. We send, I don't know, we're about to be sending 10 million emails every single month. Used to be 2 million emails just however many months ago. And we work as a cold email consultancy, helping a lot of our clients really just deliver their good offers into inboxes. And we don't really work as like a lead gen agency where we're just trying to drive results. We very much work alongside clients and help them figure out their messaging market fit and how to do AI outbound at scale. So we send millions of emails every single month, and every email is written one-to-one to each recipient with the best deliverability in the world. And my whole philosophy is deliverability first, offer second. We take care of the first thing, but you got to take care of the second thing if you want really good results. So that's us.
Well, actually, you see, one of the interesting things about you is that you already had built out a lot of the stuff that you had a pretty decent system, actually, to the point where we actually complimented you on it when you joined the program. And what you did was you connected us with your developer, your main systems integrator. You introduced us to the guy who'd built some of your stuff. So I was curious as to finding out a little bit more about this interesting situation where I think you were capable of doing a lot of the stuff on your own, and still you chose us. So talk us through that decision, because there are some people that are thinking of working with us where they're already pretty decent at building systems. So where were you at, and what was your decision making criteria for deciding to still come with us?
Yeah. It's interesting because like everything you guys are even building right now, I'm like, yeah, I could probably build that, right? And so I have a lot of knowledge of what you guys are doing, which is really cool. But I mean, really, it was just I was looking at my time spent, right? And I was talking to one of the guys on my team, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like super overwhelmed right now, but let's just get the work done. And he's like, what are you spending most of your time on? I'm like, oh, like let's take a look. And I'm like, wow, 90% of my time is spent right now building automation so that way our business can run properly. And I think the highest lever any entrepreneur can do is how to pay other people for the work that is worth their time, so that way you can free yourself up to work more. So for example, if I can work an hour and create $2,000 of income from that work, the second that's the equation or whatever that number ends up being, the second any task I am doing that is less than that amount per hour should 100% just be outsourced to somebody, right? And so you guys also knew your stuff. And so when I was thinking about the decision, it's like, it was mostly like, okay, well, I'm just one guy. The biggest bottleneck and constraint on the business right now is actually me and my speed in which to knock stuff out, right? Like, it doesn't matter how good I am at this stuff. I can't compete with you guys having, 8 or 20 or however many people you have working on our stuff. I'll never be able to compete with that, right? And so it was like a no-brainer on the expect, because it just allows me to highly leverage my time so I can actually like continue just expanding the business more, right? So
You see, what I normally find is that we normally get two types of customers that come and talk to us. And it's like, one, either the founders that are completely lost, really overwhelmed in life. They've never really thought in systems, never really done any automations, and they just need hand-holding through the entire process. And then you've got on the other side, entrepreneurs like yourself who come from a software engineering background. You're used to systems thinking, you have an engineering, like a degree. So it's kind of like there's a nuance between the two kind of like clients that come to us. And the problem that I find sometimes with clients in a similar background to you, we didn't have this issue, of course, but what I normally see is they find it quite difficult to let go of control of some of the systems, right? So it's like they've spent so much time like in the weeds of their business, like they've done everything, they've gone through all the trials and tribulations, and it's like they don't want to let go of the control to understand like, well, actually there is a better path forward, a one where you can like streamline all of these operations and actually get through to the next level. So could you maybe like walk us through like how you found trusting us in the process, or why you trusted us, or why you thought it would be good for you to kind of let go of control and just instead let us get on with the work that we've been doing for like 4 or 5 years now?
yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure why that's easier for me. Well, one, I need to see like expertise displayed, right? But also, like I've noticed the people that I do have on my team, I have like one full-time guy, I have one part-time guy, and I have a personal executive assistant that's like a VA that helps me just with just my digital life, right? And the common factor between all of them is that they're entrepreneurial, where my just life view and expectation is that you're going to take self-responsibility and accountability over your own stuff. And I don't need to like babysit you or do anything or whatever. And I'm rather here to just equip you to be able to grow your skills more. Like I remember listening to this one gal talk, and she talked about how if you take struggle away from people, you aren't actually making their life easier. You're not allowing them to actually develop the skill to cope with real life, which I totally like agree with that, right? But it was one of those things where like I believe that, but then I noticed that I maybe might do too much for people. So like I like actually having like I've kind of flipped it around completely to where I actually really like when people struggle with stuff, and I actually kind of enjoy not just giving them the answer because they need that epiphany moment to actually be able to like grow better, right? And at the end of the day, it's like think a lot of people are just, I mean, I see it all the time. Like we had this one guy, or we have this one client right now where they're like, hey, this guy got this email and it didn't have the first name and blah, blah, blah. And he was like freaking out. And I was like, dude, we're sending 100,000 emails a day. Like, if 1% of them are wrong, that's 1,000 people telling you to F off. You need to be able to handle that. And so, like, most people are just so perfectionist, and I don't know why. But, and I also just know that, like, I probably wouldn't be able to do it that good either. So, like, who am I to be super critical on it? So, like, there's a balance of, like, the standards need to be up here, but also, like, if I assume good intentions on the other party, it's really easy to just be like, well, they're genuinely trying to build the best, and so any gap there is just a lack of knowledge, and then you help them with that, and then it's really easy. So I don't know. It's just kind of a certain frame, and then of course, if people don't perform, like you're able to fire them and just move on. So like you don't really lose much in every instance. It's kind of like we have maids that take care of our house or whatever, right? Once a week they come through. It's like $200. It's like one of the best levers on our time possible, especially for my wife. It's like how much is $200 worth in our time, you know? And like we can just do that lever, but like we aren't going to sit there and be like, oh my gosh, you guys missed this effing spot over here. Like we might bring it up and be like, hey, when you guys were last here, you guys missed this spot, but I'm not like going to be angry with them or like fire them or something like that, right? It's like, no, you're already like making me better than I was, so like let's just continue to make it better from there, right? So
Yeah, I wish we had more clients like you. But I actually think it's something that like bites me in the ass quite often. It's like when we're in the DMs with people and people are saying like you guys are systems and AI automation specialists, like everything has to be perfect. It doesn't really always work like that. Like AI automations normally break down. It's like you have one component and then they split down into different components, like sales connects to marketing, which connects to fulfillment, which connects to customer support. It's like everything has to connect. And sometimes these linkages can break. Maybe Instagram updates their software and they've got a new API. So obviously I don't want to go into too much details, but you do always have things that just will break. So like trying to manage expectations for some of the customers, and I'm sure like you've probably gone through something similar, but I always try to assume positive intentions in my customers. You know, sometimes a part of my program is like, you know, the emotional support for the CEO operating system. And there are times that you might have got frustrated with some of the automations, or some customers have got frustrated with you. And it's all about kind of understanding like everyone's working towards the same goal. It's like we're all trying to get better. We're all working towards the same direction. You know, I say this shit all the time, and it's the same like North Star that we're all working towards. One thing that I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, like the way that you've been as a client, it has like opened my eyes into how I want my relationships to be in the future. Like you're bound to make mistakes, but as long as you're on the journey, as long as you stay consistent, you stay positive, you stay proactive, then like this can't fail.
one client right now where they're like, dude, results are horrible this week. And I was like, okay, like let's look into it. And deliverability is great. Reply rates are great. Positive reply rates are great, but signups were low. They like fell off by like 90%, right? And he was like, we can't keep doing this if this is what the results are going to be or whatever. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Chill the hell out, dude. When we were working with RB2B, or we still do, but in June, our entire email infrastructure completely fell apart and nothing worked. And we had to completely, move to our own sequencer and like do everything that you guys know. And I hit up Adam and was just like, hey, dude, email deliverability is total shit right now. And we're probably going to be down for like a month. And I just remember him just being like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks for figuring it out. And then he just moved on. He was just like, cool. That's why I pay you to figure stuff out when it breaks. And there's so many people when they're like, oh, it's breaking. So I had to like explain to this client, it's like, hey man, here's a certain frame. Like it's great to be in a position where your issue isn't deliverability or replies or positive replies, and that it's instead signups, because you can control that. So like it's just telling us where the constraint is on our business. And I just find so many people, they can't. He was super receptive to it, but like so many people can't. Like I'm so cool at just like shit breaking. Like that happened.
Well, bro, even for me, it's like I built this internal tool for my teams to use, and I even gave it to some of my clients. And someone in my team was like loudly, I mean, he wasn't like complaining, but he was saying like it just didn't work the way he wanted to. Like he was loudly vocalizing it in a very, I guess, aggressive way. Like I didn't see that as a bad thing, to be honest. I was like, this is perfect because it tells me like this is what I built. This is what the people are wanting for it. So it's the same thing with like when you're building a game or you're building software. Like you know this yourself. It's like you've got 1.0, you've got the alpha, you've got the beta, then you've got 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. Like you keep building and iterating until you've got a perfect thing. And in any situation, AI automations are never going to be perfect for you off the shelf, which is why, like, even in our first conversations, I said, like, we don't just plug in random AI tools. You have to make them bespoke for your own business architecture, like your own situation. So So the reason I don't mind this is because it's like when something is broken, it just means that it needs to be tweaked. It needs to be tailored just a little bit to meet your situation even better. Like I think he just wanted it to be connected to marketing in a specific way, or he wanted to be connected to fulfillment. So it just streamlined the entire workflow. Well, the fact that he's now said that to me is that the next time I hand it off to someone, it's going to be even better. So I don't see an issue with this. It's just like you can't expect to be perfect from day one.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Right.
But I will say one thing, bro. I will say one thing. One of the guys that you referred to me, so one of the guys in your program, like he did actually say that either December 2025 or the month before that, where you doubled your income. And like just for the sake of this video, I just want to clarify if it was because like of any of the work that we've done here or whatever it is, like maybe you can just share some gems. Like, is it even true? Like just talk to me a little bit about that.
And yeah, last month we did something. So the month of October we did something like about 147 in revenue, and then in November we did 236 basically. And that's not even accounting some larger projects that we're working on. So yeah, we basically doubled last month. And the craziest thing, and that's why I think it's relevant for this call, is that I wasn't freaking out. Like I didn't work anymore. It's like we have systems, like especially just like bringing in one of my guys a little bit more to like handle the cold email infrastructure funnel that you guys helped us build just inside of Airtable. Like he actually has proper systems now to where when I go, hey dude, this guy used to work 5 hours a week, and I hit him up and I was like, hey dude, I need you to work a lot more. You know, like, you know, the systems well, like I need you to do this stuff. And he's like, cool, let's do it then. And I didn't really have to like do too much to be like, here's how it needs to be done. He just kind of follows the process inside of there. There's some gray areas on like little things we got to buff out for just to get it perfect. Right. But like, I wasn't freaking out. My business doubled in a month and I wasn't like, holy shit, all my systems are falling apart. Like I'm so stressed. And like it just worked. And I was like, great. That's exactly what I want, is a scalable system that can just double at like as fast as possible. Because then the second I see that happening, it's like, great, I'm going to hire a sales team. We're going to be doing a bunch of outbound on top of this. And we're going to try to 10x our volume every single month when you can rapidly. Even Hormozi kind of talks about that, where like you need to get to like 1 million, 2 million, just doing one thing and doing it way better. But then the second you do that within that 1 to 3 million range is that you need to hyper focus on systemization and optimizations, and all of your growth should come from those things, not necessarily from trying to grow more. And then when you do that, that's how when you can take a 3 million business and just flop it into a 10 million business. And so I think we're, doing our best to try to follow that exactly. And you guys are very key with that whole thing. I brag about you guys all the time, as you know. So.
And you know how much I appreciate you guys as well. So like thank you very much for like the opportunity. Has been great. I would say one thing. You guys have been like since 2023 one of the biggest clients that we've ever worked with. So I just want to know, like, because we've had to hire in people, like my own team has had to expand in order to support you guys in your ventures and the opportunities that you've wanted to kind of develop. How's it been like working with my team? So just separate from me, just as it is. So obviously I'll do the systems and the automations, but just in terms of the day-to-day, like when I've been handing things off in order to check and monitor all of the work that we've been doing, how has my team been supporting you? Could you give me a little bit more on that, please?
Yeah, from what I've been able to, each of them personally, great, like easy to talk to. They push back on me, which is really great because I don't know what I don't know. So we do a good job of breaking each other's ideas to get to the best idea, which is it's a huge thing I need from people that I'm trusting with stuff, is I need them to push back and disagree with me, and not. I very much dislike yes people. So none of them really fit that bucket, which is stellar. But then on top of that, I notice like when they're going into our calls, like the summary calls afterwards, or the way that they come into a call with like, cool, here are the things that we need to talk about, or here's the status for this current sprint or whatever. So I see glimpses of your operational backend that you use to be able to manage that stuff. And it's all been top notch, So yeah, nothing but great things there to say, for sure.
Thank you. Like, you don't know how much that means to me, man. Like, expanding my own business has been a big thing. So like, I've always wanted to make sure that I'm doing it right. One of the last questions that I want to ask you, imagine someone was across the room, or someone wanted to call you and ask, how's it like working with Dylan? Would you recommend him? Would you not recommend him? Would you maybe just give like a word or two, just kind of talking about whether or not you would suggest working with me, why not? I'd love to even hear what your inputs are, and full transparency here. Yeah, I'd love to hear the truth.
I mean, I think there are two primary buckets, right? So, like a few of the friends that I referred over to you, where I'm like, dude, they know automations too. They're just like me, but I'm like, how much? Like, I remember talking to one of them that's working with you guys now, and all he's working on is automations. And I was like, dude, and I just went over the math with him of like, what's your time worth versus what someone else could do. And like the break even point was like, oh, if they save you 10 hours a month, it's worth it. why wouldn't you do that? You know? So like there's that bucket there where it's just like, I think a lot of people need to more highly lever their time and be not afraid to, because I mean, you get the ROI pretty fast back, especially like if you just delegate 10 hours away and then you just play more Call of Duty, like that's one thing. But like ideally you're delegating that and you're actually doing something more productive with that time. So that's kind of the first bucket. And then the second bucket, right, is just like anybody who, this is almost more necessary for you. You're trying to scale a business and you don't know this stuff. Like, I mean, but even we're guilty of this. I think it's hilarious. But like before we worked with you guys, like we still manually bought all of our domains. But then we closed the client and we're like, we need more than 50 domains today. So what do we do? Okay, we need to figure this out. And then like now, I mean, we'll rip 2,000 domains in a day now, man. So like you're turning, what used to take 100 weeks. That's just an example where like I look at some people where they don't even know. Like we knew it was there, but we just hadn't implemented it yet. But like most people don't even know. So they're doing all these manual things. They don't have systems in place. And so it just holds them back so drastically, Yeah, it's crazy.
I love it, bro. I love it. Look, man, I just want to say, like, I know I've taken a little bit extra of your time, so thank you so much for staying on longer. I know this is not going to be the last time we meet. I'm so grateful for the opportunity, and I'm hoping that you also found this valuable. But yeah, man, it's been such a great journey with you, and I wish you all the best.
Absolutely.